all of these claims by WhiteHouse.com are contradicted by Gelb's report itself, if you read his report, which
fact,
I find, it's somewhat interesting. When I got the tip about the payoff, I contacted some media personnel.
Tell us more about the payoff, Larry. We don't have to speak on that yet.
I received a phone call from someone that I truly believe in. Their information turned out to be exactly correct, and it was basically informing me that WhiteHouse.com and Dan Parisi were in fact paid offered $750,000 by David Axelrod and the Obama campaign to set up a polygraph test for me to fail and post it on their website to the March 4th
primaries next week. Yeah. Right.
Yes. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They told me to contact the FEC regarding expense records from the campaign. And we're going to commercial, aren't we?
We are. Stand by. We'll pick it up right there.
Okay.
The contact of the FEC will be back with Larry in just a minute. The second report has a major contradiction in it. You can see that at Rense.com. It's a news release from David John Oates' reverse speech site. By the way, David stands firmly on the findings of reverse speech vis-a-vis Larry Sinclair and Barack Obama. David will be back on this program Friday to update the situation as he sees it. So keep tabs of things at Rense.com. It's a top featured story, and Larry Sinclair is my guest, and we'll be right back in just a couple minutes. Okay, Jeff Rense and Larry Sinclair, a second exclusive interview here on the Jeff Rense program for you. This is an extraordinary story, and I think all of you by now, if you are listening to this honestly, objectively, and with honest skepticism, are hearing in Larry Sinclair a man who is not going to go away. We'll talk more about that later. This is an issue that is rock solid to him. It is his truth, and it was backed up by reverse speech. And we'll talk more about this polygraph thing in just a minute. But go ahead, and what are you going to do now with the Election Commission in regards to this alleged payoff?
Yeah, I was told to contact the FEC, and I was told to make sure that I requested that an investigator review the payouts from the Obama campaign as well as from Axelrod's company itself, that the original agreement was for $750,000, that $375,000 of that had been paid up front, and that the remainder would be paid once WhiteHouse.com had obtained the results that the Obama campaign wanted and had posted them immediately up on the WhiteHouse.com website. Well, apparently they were being real slow in getting things posted over the weekend, and that caused some alleged animosity between the two parties, so to speak.
Got it.
And those were the communications that were actually hacked into. And it came out somewhat interesting because it turns out that Parisi was fighting with Axelrod over the fact that he wanted the other part of his money, and Axelrod was fighting with Parisi over the fact that he wanted the results showing me to be an outright fraud put up on WhiteHouse.com immediately.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I had contacted Parisi about this immediately on Monday. He had ignored every email concerning these issues, and I had spent half the day Monday demanding that he make a public posting because the two charities that received the two $5,000 checks here in Duluth were concerned that the checks would not be honored. And I had repeatedly asked him to give some confirmation to that effect, that the checks were in fact good and would be honored. And he finally sent me an email through his assistant, Robert Braddock, basically making the one-line comment that, you know, we're a big company, we're not about to bounce any checks. only to send me an email this morning telling me that mine was going to be no good.
Okay, now the two checks to the two charities, very nice charities and worthy, were of, I think, $5,000 each, Larry?
That's correct. It was $5,000 each that went to the Salvation Army of Duluth and the Girls and Boys Club of Duluth.
Very good. Okay, so those are allegedly going to be allowed to pass. But
that's according to... Yes,
go ahead. No.
That's according to his email. I woke up today, and when I woke up today, I checked my email, and there was an email from Mr. Parisi informing me that he had notified his bank to not honor the check for $20,000 that was issued to me, based on my statement in an interview with BigHeadDC.com, in which I stated that I wanted to do another polygraph test, completely videotaped, uninterrupted, beginning to end, with the results announced right there on the video prior to even turning off the camera. And I had made the statement that I wanted to do this if things went well. I had never made the comment that I had done it. I had made the statement that I wanted to do it, and I wanted to do it and have it released before next Tuesday.
Well, it's absolutely your right to make that statement, for goodness sakes. Of course.
Well, it is my right, but he turned around and sent me an email saying that because I had done another polygraph test that was due to be released today, which is not what was said, because I did agree with them. One of the conditions of our contract was that I would not do another polygraph test with anyone for 4 weeks. I have not done it. I had not even contacted.
You haven't breached anything. I understand that.
I have not breached anything, but yet he hasn't lived up to one condition. I was told that I would have a mutual say in the polygraphy or the polygraph experts that were chosen.
Oh, really?
Mr. Gelb's credentials were relayed to me to be something that turned out not to be true.
Yeah, we'll talk about that after the break as well. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. The second expert, Dr. Barlin from Salt Lake City, I did not even know who this gentleman was, his last name, nor any contact information on him until someone emailed it to me yesterday, because Parisi at WhiteHouse.com had never even given that information.
So Parisi cut you out of the whole process. So talk about a breach of an agreement. There it is. Now, if I remember correctly, you were promised $10,000 cash to agree to take the polygraph test and a bonus thereafter. Now that, I assume, is what we're talking about when you mentioned $20,000 to you.
No, what happened was this. On Thursday, the 21st, the morning, actually, I flew to Los Angeles on February 21st on Thursday.
All right, Larry, hold on, will you please? We have this is a short segment. We'll do a break. We have a long segment after this, in fact, two of them, so we'll pick it up right there with Larry Sinclair, who is here telling his story tonight, and all of you are already hearing a lot of conflicted statements about the performance or lack thereof of WhiteHouse.com and its ownership. Is the Axelrod allegation about payoff true? I think the FEC needs to look into this immediately. These are very serious charges. We will be right back with Larry Sinclair in just a couple minutes. All right, let's get right back to our conversation with Larry Sinclair about the abomination that he underwent in terms of an agreement breached by the people at WhiteHouse.com. At least that's what we're hearing from Larry Sinclair. Okay, Larry, go ahead. Tell us more.
Okay. Thursday morning when I woke up, there was an email at about 8 a.m., which I have posted on my website, from Mr. Parisi, suggesting that I agree to a flat fee as opposed to the $10,000 to take it and then $90,000 if I pass.
Yeah, you were looking at an alleged $100,000 payoff. So
correct. I had brought an issue to his attention Wednesday evening when this fanatic blogger calling himself Murray was posting all over the Internet that this would constitute bribery under federal bribery laws. So I raised the issue because, as from the very first day I even spoke with you, I've made it clear I wanted this thing to be as open, upfront, clean,
Yep.
and unbiased as possible.